Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching or listening to this, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bell, proudly sponsored by Champs Boxing Store and in association with the British and Irish Boxing Authority. This week we're joined by Matt. Hi Matt, how you doing, mate?
How's it going, guys? You all right?
And also we're joined by two very special guests today. He's the head coach and CEO of Tough Love Boxing. It's Terry, and head trainer to the amateurs. It's Shane. Hi guys, welcome to the show.
You all right? Thank you for having us.
Before we get into what Tough Love is in that, would you both like to share how you got into boxing?
When I was younger, it was more of just a keeping out of trouble thing to do. Dad took me into a couple of boxing lessons. Footwork was bad, so got me into dancing, contemporary ballet, the rest of it. Went in, couldn't really find a good coach throughout my life. Fell in and out of training, working out, never really stuck to it. When I did, but when I didn't, I really didn't. And then kind of stayed out of boxing for a long time, always kind of taught myself and just stayed active, shadow boxing, watching things, making sure I kept up to the times. And then kind of went off of it for a couple of years. Started up my own charity trying to get kids into boxing off the street, and then met Tel and got back into boxing through that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did. Started as a kid, continued on, loved it, sort of life got in the way, and then sort of come back into it. I started training my little boy when he was sort of like 5, got him into it, just doing pads with him and stuff. Realised I'd preferred the coaching over the boxing. No one likes to get punched in the face, do they? Well, you still get them in the face when you're a coach, you know.
If not more.
and they're the ones you don't see either, do they? They go off the pad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the worst ones. Or they go, you tell them to throw something and they throw an uppercut and it's like, what are you doing? That's not even the number I call.
You know, I used to teach Thai as well. So I used to go, right, roundhouse kick. So as they threw a kick, they used to miss the pad altogether and catch it. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to be put to sleep. If it's a kid as well, because they're bragging about it to their pals at school, aren't they?
Yeah.
I put my coach to sleep the other night.
Set up Tough Love Boxing. What is Tough Love Boxing and what do you guys do there?
So Tough Love Boxing was set up in the first lockdown. We was, at the end of the first lockdown, me and my missus went on holiday. We was lucky we was allowed to. And it was the only one place. We went to Greece, and then while we were out there, we just both sort of sat down and sort of said, you know, like, with all this, with everything that's going on, it's like, look, let's do what we want to do now. And I was like, you know what, I want to have a crack at the old boxing lark. And we set up Tough Love Boxing, and I think the name sort of speaks for itself, doesn't it, with the old boxing lark, because you have to be tough on them. I mean, with the kids especially, you have to be tough on them, but you got to show them love at the same time. I mean, I think as a coach, you're everything to them. You know what I mean? You have to be a dad, an uncle, a brother, a cousin, or sometimes you have to be a mum if they ain't got that. Do you know what I mean? It's the weirdest thing in the world, but it's the most wonderful.
People don't understand that, do they, Terry? Like, as a trainer, they just think, right, you're getting kids through the door. And it's not like that because like on my past, my phone used to still be going at 11 o'clock at night with the kids being in trouble or they've had problems. Do you know, like you're like a social worker as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, do you know what? So I've got a counselling certificate as well. So I do this thing in schools. I call it boxing. So it's like I'll get them on the pads. I'll start padding them a little bit. I'll talk to them, and then while they're padding, they just unravel everything and just tell you everything. So it's like boxing therapy, but boxing is called. I have to coin the phrase to my pal Danny Nolan. He's big look him up in the amateur world. He had a lovely career, like he was top level, but decent. He had a few brothers that done well, but he coined the phrase with me, so I have to big him up for that, really, if I'm honest.
How do you feel that boxing helps young people? Why do you think boxing helps? Because obviously in schools you're trying to promote away from violence, but boxing obviously is a violent sport. So how does what you do help the young people out?
I think it creates a discipline that they need, because if you look nowadays, I mean, there's nothing for them to do. When we was younger, they was just starting to close down the local like places where kids would go.
When when I was 18, I used to work for a service called the Children and Young People Service for Greenwich Council, which run youth clubs. That doesn't exist now. When I was about 21, that closed down.
We were like around my way, because I'm from Downham originally, and we had in Sydenham, we had the climbing place one, and then Deptford just down the road, you had another one, and everyone used to go there, but it didn't matter. Do you see what I mean? And there was none of that, oh, you're in the wrong area, or oh, you're here. It was just like, oh yeah, look, we're all people, we're all pals. Like, obviously, you had your little dramas down still, but you're always going to get that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think there's nowhere for them to go, and I think boxing clubs create that. They create that, and it's the craziest thing. I mean, if Matt will tell you himself, like, you're in a gym, you could be in there with a policeman, someone who's on the other side of the law, and like someone who's a solicitor or someone who's a maths teacher, just all training at the same time, like in the older groups. Do you know what I mean? And then in the kids groups, you could have someone who's a grade A student who's smashing it, but then you could have someone that barely even wants to go to school, but they all get on. They all mix because boxing brings them together, nothing else.
Yeah. Like I said to the boys I used to train, I remember it was a day before we was going to go to a show for a fight, and they're all getting aggy, they're all getting a bit nervous, and they're all getting at each other. And this is full grown men here, Terry. You know what I mean? Like, and I went, listen, you're part of that 1%. You're part of that 1% that will never that will climb through them ropes. Love each other. You know what I mean? You're all going on this journey together. But yeah, like I get that. I do get it. And boxing, what I find is it's a very catch-22. Like you'll get some kids that love boxing. They wouldn't get in trouble outside, but some little darlings will go and use what you've taught them outside. And that's what worries me the most. I've banned a couple of children in the past for that sort of thing. Like, I've gone over and chinned a fella, and what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's not about that.
Our thing in the club is like for the amateurs, like, so the amateur club is actually North Kent ABC. So like it's a kick. The tough love makes money, but the amateurs, we don't make no money off that. It all goes back into the amateurs. You know what I mean? So I mean, with North Kent, our rules are: if you sign for us as a boxer, if you fight outside the club, we ban it. We take your card away. We send it back to the ABA, and we tell them he's had a fight outside of boxing. You shouldn't be fighting anywhere ever again. And the reason is for that is because we don't want boxing getting a bad name outside of boxing.
Yeah.
Like I'm very passionate about the sport, so sometimes my passion comes through. Like at the weekend, we had the ref was iffy, but that's how it works. And unfortunately, I shook I nudged the hand of the coach, I nudged the hand of the other coach, I nudged the hand of the fighter, and I said to the ref, it was appalling reffing, if I'm honest, and that was it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they have to be told, if I'm honest with you, because everyone gives this, protect this and protect that. But I think I don't think they should get the right protection. In amateurs, you can't contest it or nothing like that. So once it's done, it's done. You can't argue with a ref. You can't do this. You can't do that. That's fair. The fighters shouldn't argue with a ref, but the coaches should be allowed to have a word with the ref and see, what was happening in that. They don't do that with committee or nothing like that. It's a hard one. It's a really hard one.
I've been to a couple of amateurs recently, and like the referees, I'm like, are they watching something different?
Sometimes I think the judges are watching something different, if I'm honest with you, as well. Like, scoring is tragic.
I think they hear more than what they see.
Yeah. A
It's-
crowd can be a good influence.
They work so hard in there. And don't get me wrong, if they lose, but they've done their best, fair play, round of applause. Do you know what I mean? But when they're getting robbed,
And their kids as well.
Mm.
Like, that's when the kids you talk with, who they get robbed a couple of times, they think, this, I could just go outside and beat a hell of a load of people up because I've got the skills that they ain't got. And then that's when they crack on and do that.
Yeah.
And start, I don't know, thinking they're Andrew Tate or something. You know what I mean? Laughable.
And how important do you think the amateurs route is for the world of boxing? Because I know obviously like the boxing's being taken out the Olympics soon and stuff like that. But how important do you think the amateur world is for the sport of boxing?
I think the amateur world is as important for the pro boxing as much as the amateur world is for the football lark. They get enough money swanned into it, and they're producing this one and that one and this one and that one, and they get paid hell of a load of stupid money on a weekly basis. But it's harder to become a boxer than it is to become a footballer, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
The turnover is a lot smaller, especially from England now as well. But
I think the amateurs are also good for like setting them up mentality wise, because obviously, as you're saying, like you can only teach them so much discipline. A lot of it's on them. So that false kind of confidence. If they didn't go through the amateurs and accept certain losses or certain fights, judging, etc., then life's going to be harder for them. Boxing's going to be harder for them, especially when they get to the pros, because it's not all fair in life or inside the ring. So yeah, I feel like the amateurs is very important for their mentality as well, because they need to get used to how like rough boxing actually is. Like the amount of times they're going to be on their own, how much we're on them. Some of our fighters must hate us at points, because we're like generally, like what you said there, you get calls at 11 o'clock. We're calling them at 11 o'clock saying, "Where's our runs? Like you've run 2 miles today. It's not enough more." Like
we're on them for runs because they don't realise like that run stamina. It's that third round stamina.
Yeah, 100%.
That third round, they think getting punched is hard enough. It's getting punched in the third round and still carrying on. And 2 minutes is a long time.
It's
a long time when you're getting punched and you're tired.
When I did the Ultra White Collar show, that is one thing I didn't take seriously, was the running work. And I felt it after the first 20 seconds of the first round, because I didn't put the effort in to run.
I used to love running. I loved it. Like earphones in, off I go.
Yeah.
I loved it. I can't do it no more. But yeah.
Mate, I do about 100. I used to be a good 100-meter sprinter, 200-meter sprinter. I was always short spurts, bam, bam, bam. Like even when I played football, it was always fast and quick. So I do the same with boxing. I'm in and out, bam again, in and out, loads of footwork. But with running, I used to be all right. Now I went and done like a mile to prove to the kids, look, we can do it. And like literally, like finished it. It's like 15 minutes. I thought, what am I foul? What's up with me? Like, what have I done to myself? Like 15-minute mile, like. I'm sure there's probably like people with like, one leg running it a mile faster than me.
Like, I used to run 6 miles a day. Every morning.
Yeah.
I used to run from Erith to Crayford and back. So that's 3 miles there, 3 miles back.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But that was me. I used to love it. They used to set me up for the day. Then I used to go training. Used to come home and eat and then go back training again. I used to love it.
This is something again we try and say to the amateurs a lot, is like it's a prerequisite. It's not something you have to do. It's something that you should want to do. You know what I mean? Like as I just said, like getting up and running in the morning for you was brushing your teeth or having a shower. Like if kids can do that, then all of the extra things that come through boxing just come as extra. They're losing weight, they're getting faster, getting money, having respect off of people. Like your whole personality changes because of things like just getting up and Tyson, doing the things you hate to do, like you love doing.
Do you know the worst thing is every amateur boxer that comes in the gym wants to be Mayweather. They want to fight like him. They don't want to run like him. They don't want to train like him. They don't realise. Listen, the geezer ain't got the record he's got or done what he done because he didn't run and didn't train harder. He was running at 3 a.m. when no one else was. He was training in the gym at 4 a.m. for an hour. His sleep pattern was bare minimum enough so he can continue to train. But they don't want to do that. They want to do look, watch this.
YouTube boxing is spoiling that, because me and Matt had this debate, because I enjoy watching the YouTube boxing because I like the event side of things and stuff like that. But Matt's sort of disagrees with it from the side of the sport wise of things, because it's sort of showing people that you can play at being the boxing, and as you guys know, and obviously as Matt knows, you can't play at being a boxer.
No, that's the only one you don't play. I mean the reality is look, with that, it's horrible to say, right, with all that YouTube boxing, it messes with the amateur's head.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, like young kids see KSI or Jake Paul or whatever their name is. Yeah. I mean, whoever, one of the Paul brothers, whoever they are, they're the same, aren't they, in reality? Like, they see them and then they think, oh yeah, all right, bam, I can do that. And they love all the excitement. They love all the big show. None of them want to do, like, I mean, give it to Jake Paul. He's training. He ain't messing about. He is actually trying. I mean, he's theoretically cherry picking his whole career. I mean, for his brother to get a fight with Mayweather is appalling when there's so many other fighters out there that deserve a fight with Mayweather. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to give someone a fight, I don't think whatever it was, Logan or Jay, I don't think either of them deserve that. Just because you're big on YouTube, that doesn't mean you know you can throw hands with one of the best ever. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. But on the flip side, it's bringing a lot of non-boxing fans to boxing.
Yeah,
like it's turning over, kids that play Minecraft, and it's making them sort of, rather than building blocks, watching people box is, I suppose, a bit better, isn't it? I suppose. It's the only flip side I can see to it. Other than that, it messes with a lot of amateurs because it just means that I don't think they're going to get the opportunities that they deserve.
In my opinion, with this YouTube stuff, like I feel sorry for the people that have worked so hard all their life.
Yeah,
I mean, like as you know, my cousin, like he has worked since he was 5 years old to get where he is, and he should be earning that money.
But some of them don't, do they? Some of them should be scaffolders and like that when they leave school and stuff. Like, I know kids that they're mustard boxers, but they're not going to get the chance because they don't sell the tickets as well. Do you know what I mean? Like ticket sales, people forget ticket sales is a massive thing in boxing. I mean, I respect all boxers, but there's boxers, like as if it was football teams, there's boxers you're going to favour over others. I mean, if I watch Newcastle play Chelsea, I know I'm from London, but sorry if you're a Chelsea fan, I want Newcastle.
I think it also depends on the individual themselves, because, like, say for instance, if the person has a big following and then that person is disrespecting boxing, I watched someone before that fought like an 18-year-old fight like a 40-year-old, and I was watching the press conference and he was talking about, I stopped smoking 2 weeks ago for this fight, I'm taking it serious and stuff like that. That side of the influence boxer stuff, I think shouldn't be around. Like he was saying stuff about the opponent's daughter. Like, just I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Was that Ed Matthews?
That's it.
I mean, listen, that Ed Matthews and that HS kid, one of them's going to catch a case. If I'm honest with you, I don't they're hanging around with 15-year-old girls, so I don't think it'd be long before they're.
You know what? I did see something this morning actually about that HS fella.
Mate, I mentioned it on his TikTok, and then his whole thing got taken down and all that.
I think he has got a case.
Oh,
there you go.
See, people like that, no good. But then, see, like Jake Paul, I was never a fan of him. But then, like, for anyone that knows boxing, obviously, like a lot of fighters, they stick to certain routines, like sleep routines, nutrition routines, etc. So in America, where they fight a lot later at night, Jake Paul, for the past nearly 3 years now, has had a schedule where he gets up about 8-9 o'clock at night. He then eats, he gets ready, so his body's in full preparation for the fight, the time that he fights. I don't see a lot of pros do that. So for that, I think it's fair enough, because kids that are looking up to him are going, oh, wow, he's taking this really serious. And they will learn stuff through that. They might not even learn through pros. But the ones that are not taking it seriously, it does tarnish the sport, because it does bring people that it wouldn't normally bring to boxing, but they're not always the right type of people. They could be arrogant people thinking, oh, I'm just going to go in the gym and knock someone out. And then you might lose 2 or 3 boxers because of that one scored person coming in. So you do have to be massively careful. But I think as a whole, it's good and bad. Like, it's an equilibrium, isn't it?
I mean, if Mayweather's fighting people for money, I'd have a slap. You know what I mean? I'll take 4 rounds with him. I'll take 4 rounds for 10% of what they're taking. That'll do me. That'll buy me an house. I'm good.
I'll go. You can just plant one on my chin. I'll go.
I've always said that. I'll jump in there, collect my money. I'll just let him lay me out. Well, all right. Mayweather, one of the greatest of all time, laid me out. Go on, I'll have that. That's all right.
The club, have you got any prospects, amateurs coming through that people should look out for?
We got some lovely little amateurs. We got, I mean, as I said, we're only fresh with the amateurs. We're in our second season of amateurs. So we've had some come and go. As I said, the ones that didn't want to run, don't really want to crack on with full training. But we got a couple of little ones coming through. I mean, we had 2 fight this weekend, and as we said, sort of didn't like one of the first fight. It could have gone either way. It was a really good fight. That's our club captain, Levi. His name is. He's one to look out for.
Big heart, yeah, very big
Heart, and he's a soldier. He'll continue to go, and he moves well. He's a beautiful little mover. Got Cherno, yeah, he's another one. He had the fight this weekend. He's 1-1 at the moment, but he's just dropping weight. When he come to us, like it is, he was 109 kg. He's 6'2", 6'2", 109 kg, 15. He's a bit like John Coffey. He's just a gentle giant. He's so lovely, right? But seriously, since he's been with us, just under 7 months, he fought at 9. He made weight at 91 kg. Wow. On Saturday. And the week, 2 weeks prior to that, he fought at 96.5. He weighed in.
Wow.
Since he's been with us, he's lost 3 stone, and he's just constant. He's
well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah. That's it. It's little wins like that we try and promote to him. You know, if he hadn't come boxing, would he have lost that weight? If he hadn't come boxing, would he have changed the way he eats, the way he trains, what he does? He said it himself. No, he wouldn't have. He would have continued. You know, he's even said to us, the crap I used to eat before, I won't touch that now. You know, things I didn't do before, I'm doing. He does I sent him a little 30-minute workout for the morning, just no running. He does his running of an evening. But just, ab work, leg work, and that's it really, and a couple of press ups, and he bangs it out every morning, no problem. So
well done.
Yeah. That's wins for us, if I'm honest with you. That's what keeps us going on the amateur front.
So where's your gym based then, Terry?
So we're based in Greenhive. At the moment, we sort of like part-time rent a gym until we're proper sort of figured out. So we have to sort of get the ring out once a week, like the old school days. Fly the ring out once a week, and have a little bit of. I mean, we don't like to hold open sparring. If I'm honest with you. It is good. Open sparring, I think, can be done when you go to other clubs. If I'm honest, I think within the gym, I think it should all be technical and conditioned work, because in that way, a lot of people can move around with a lot of people. If you've got a 91 kg, he can work on moving, defending, no shot back. Where a 66 kg can just work on getting that jab off of him fast. Now you've got a fast 66 kg that's just throwing a jab at you. At a 91 kg, you're going to learn to react quicker. But we just, we try and work on that, and it's never sparring. Like the ones that are the same weight, we let them do a little bit more, but other ones we let them move about. And
are you at full capacity at the minute, or are you?
We are at a capacity we like. I don't know if that sounds weird, but as I said, we're not in the amateurs for the money. So, we'd like to bring other kids off the street, but we don't want the ones that don't want to train. That's our main issue. Like, if you are joining the amateurs, you are joining the amateurs. So when you sign up, there are rules, there's this. And so we've had a few fall out, and we've had a few come on, and we've sort of got a few sort of on the waiting list that we're sort of thing. But we want to keep our training to sort of like 10 to 15. And then at the moment, we've got 5 signed up. So, but yeah, the others are going to sign up next season, but they're fresh this season. So we're just working. I mean, we don't want to just.
Well, guys, if you want to get into boxing, you're in the Greenhive area.
Yep, that's it. And we train at Greenhive Community Centre, Alexander Road.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do people contact you on social media?
Unfortunately, we had a really good following on Instagram, right? I was told it was good. I didn't think it was that good. But it was like 2,500 plus or whatever, which ain't bad. No. And I realised, I thought, I'm only following about like 300 people. So I thought, I'll add a couple of followers. I think I followed 30 people in 2 days, and they cut me off and shut me down.
Oh no!
Where Brian, honestly, I moaned at them and everything. They said no, so we started a backup account. I mean, if you look up on Google, boxing in Green Hive, I mean, we're there. We're up on top. Where it should be Tough Love Boxing, Enclosures, Boxing Rings, and then North Kent ABC.
I'm going to chuck all links down in the description below as well on this video, so people can click straight there. Right, before we go, one last question. I'll hand it over to Matt, because it's a question that we ask all our guests.
You two stuck on the desert island. You're allowed. It should be free, but there's 2 of you on this island already, so there's only 2. Right?
We're allowed 2 people.
You're allowed 2 professional boxers who you can take with you.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive, don't matter.
Do we have to take boxers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a boxing show.
Here we go.
I mean, like for me as a coach, obviously, I'd take like Arcel or Cuss. You know what I mean? But somebody just goes, I'd like to talk boxing with them and see what their mind said. But I mean, boxer wise, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, that's not a nice question. That's really not a nice question. Because I've got 30 people and I'm trying to cut them all down to why I'd want to spend time, who I wouldn't.
What,
I don't think Mike Tyson would be fun after about an hour. I think he'd start getting a bit aggressive, and I don't know if he'd be good company.
I reckon Shane would take Marciano.
Maybe Marciano, yeah.
That's decent.
That's a good shout. Actually.
Yeah.
I think he would, yeah.
Different perspective of time and stuff, yeah.
Oh, this is so horrible.
Kazagi?
So if we was on our own, what, I'd get to pick 3 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got the riders on your own,
This is horrible.
together.
Oh, I think Calzaghe, yeah. The only other one is it's going to be Andre Ward, but yeah, Calzaghe.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll change mine then. I'll change my Roy Jones, then you can have Calzaghe, and then we can watch them 2 go at it as well. That's
Roy Jones and Calzaghe. Yeah, go on, we'll have Roy Jones and Calzaghe with a score.
Yeah, both in their prize.
I'll tell you what, Shane, I was really privileged to meet Roy Jones Jr. a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Quite lucky. March the 26th, I've been given 2 tickets to go and meet Calzaghe by but really nice guy. Dave, he's Frank Bruno's agent, and he helped us out.
I spoke to Dave.
He's lovely. Isn't he a decent fella? He's proper lovely. I've done some work with the agents, like with the Frank Bruno Foundation.
Yeah.
So like for mental health and stuff, obviously, because that's one thing that Tough Love does promote is like mental health work. I mean, I personally think that the mentality in boxing, your mental health, you've got to be 90% mentally there, and the rest, the other 10% is everything else. If I'm honest with you, I know people say 18, but I think the extra 10% is a lot more. I think you need it massively, but yeah, I think
Roy
so
Jones,
Calzaghe, yeah, go on, yeah, we'll have them too.
Well, guys, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate. We'd love for you to come back on and talk about what's going on next for you.
Bye.
Thanks for Terry and Shane joining us. Just before we go, Matt, we've got a little announcement, a little bit of good news on your behalf. Do you want to let everyone know what you're up to this month?
Well, yeah, so it looks like boxing won't leave me alone. So my mate's got a fight coming up 19th of February. Asked me to do his corner work for him on a help him out with a good team right around him. So it looks like I'm dusting off me bucket and sponge on the 19th of February in Medway. So it looks like I'm coming out with retirement on the cornerman front. I need it.
How do you feel about it?
I need it.
Yeah.
I need to be doing something. My mental health's okay, but it just sort of, I'm sitting there bored watching the boxing, gives me the itch. You know what I mean? Talking about it with you guys makes me want to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it looks like I'm going to go back in the corner on the 19th of Feb and whatever else is coming up for him. So yes, I will keep your eyes peeled. There's more news coming I'm working on. So not announcing that yet. So but yeah, things are looking up.
So next week, we should be joined by Checkmate's Promotion and Professional Boxer JMP and Ashley Hedges back on the show to get ready to let us know about their March the 12th show, which we'll be reporting on as well. So good couple of months coming up, hey mate?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. It's nice to hear back from Kelly, JMP, and Ashley, regulars on the show.
I think they're taking our spot.
Yeah, they are. They've done an awful lot for us. Can't thank them enough. So it's nice to see how they're getting on, how their camp's getting on, and can't wait to see them on the March the 12th.
So, guys, if you've got any questions or you want to contact us, remember, hit us up on our socials. Please hit the subscribe button. It's free, but it does help us out so much because it gets people's story out and it brings more people to the show. So please just remember, hit that subscribe button. Matt, have a good week, mate, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.